Scanning for audio.
Hello, welcome to a Tin Dog podcast. This time talking about the Devil's Chord. Again, not a video podcast, so don't go looking for anything else on YouTube. This is it. So, what we've got here is Power Rangers meets Glee. You know what? There's a meme on the internet that says, this is what Terminator is when I'm watching it alone and it's someone with a gun, and this is what Terminator is when my parents walk in and it's the sex scene, okay? For me, this is what Doctor Who is when I'm watching it alone. Oh, it's the time travel moment where you get to see the distant future when the world hasn't been saved. And here's what happens when my family are here, is a song and dance routine at the end. And just when you've got that out of your system, they start jumping up and down on a massive zebra crossing like it's big. Yes, I know, on the internet people have gone, hey, but that's leftover energy from the maestro's time. I don't care. Looked stupid. Was pointless. Oh, actually, on the subject of that, and I know this was in my notes for later on, Shirley Ballas and some other bloke from Strictly are here, which implies that they travelled through time to find Shirley, brought her back in order to teach everyone the dance and the song so that they could reintroduce music to the world. This is all headcanon, because it does look like the TARDIS is being a bit grumpy with them when they arrive back. It's just not for me. My wife turned to me and she went, look, you've got to face it, Doctor Who's dead now. It's been dead for a while. You just won't admit it. And perhaps she's right. But I'm here to talk about Doctor Who. I'm here to talk about sci-fi. I'm here to talk about nice things. And tomorrow there'll be a new podcast, and it will be a For Your Consideration, where we talk about other sci-fi. That's tomorrow's podcast. But today I'm talking about this story. Yeah, it's got Jane Hudson in. Yay! We do a little bit of a tick and a bit of a dance. And I still can't get past Jinx Monsoon's waving in the musical notes in the air. It's the musical notes in the air that really put me off in every single scene. Look, this is the sort of story that used to appear in the Virgin New Adventures. And you would be reading it and going, I'm glad this never got made. I'm glad we couldn't see this. And you'd be reading between the lines and you'd find out more about the characters and the in-depth thing, and you'd give yourself over to that aspect of the story. But it was just plain not for me by any stretch of the imagination. Oh look, Scylla's here. Oh look, she's got like 2 seconds. Bye. Oh, those meant to be the Beatles, but John Lennon's wearing the glasses. Hang on. Yeah, and I know the Volkswagen Beetle is from like 4 years later, but in a world without music, that's fine. Hey, I used to live here, and if you walk all the way over there to Shoreditch, you'll be able to find me sat there. And I've seen the internet memes where somebody says, hey, I used to live in Shoreditch, I used to live over there. Can we go and see him? No, we can't, because some idiot's got the rights and they won't release it. But I also wanted him to point to Baker Street and go, I used to live over there as well. Oh yeah, can we go and visit you? No, that's audio only. But obviously that's just me. Now, okay. Gripes. Breaking the fourth wall seems to be a recurring theme of this new series. It has been said that this might be some part of long-term Russell's plan. In Russell we trust. And it's true, we absolutely do trust, and it's really stretching my faith here. And because I don't like people breaking the fourth wall in this, And I'll put up with it in other stuff, Shakespeare and things like that. That's fine, because that's how we find out what's going on in somebody's mind. I didn't like, haven't you ever seen a TARDIS before? All that business. But it's here, and it's happening time and time again. I know that in 1925, things broke. That's when the Stooky Bill thing happens. That's when the Maestro breaks through. That's when all of these other Power Rangers monsters turn up. Because let's face it, that's what they are. I'll put my hand up and I will even defend the Candyman. Yes, I will, because that wasn't his design choice. But at the time it made my stomach turn. But that's all we've got now. Next week's story seems to be the 3 minutes of Genesis of the Daleks that gets cut out of every single release of it to make it go quicker because it's so dull for an entire hour. But we'll come back to that one. We're here to talk about this. The Sonic seems to be keep being plugged into consoles and then left and ignored in order to have it left. You've done it twice in 2 stories. This is becoming a pattern. Will it repeat? Probably. Sorry, the fourth wall thing. I know Doctor Who has broken the fourth wall in the past. Yes, Caves Androzani, I'm looking at you. Yes, Feast of Stephen, I'm looking at you. But it's not happened a lot. It's happened a lot in these 2 stories. Disney Who does this. Disney Who's monsters are a bit weird, or a bit lackluster, or a bit not what we were expecting, and perhaps that's where we're going now. And that's fine. You go on this journey. If you're enjoying it, you go there. Yes, the Pyramids of Mars moment made my heart soar, and it made me so happy. But the floating musical notes and sticking him in a drum made me just go, yeah, what? Locking her in a cello. Oh, I'm sorry. I really am sorry. I wanted to make episode 2 go, yeah, Disney have done this. They do episode 1 and episode 2 in one go, and then they release something and you go, right, I've got it. I understand that episode 1 was a bit lackluster and you didn't have faith, so here's 2. Or, in order to make you watch 2, but it just makes the series last 7 weeks instead of 8. Gives you less time to establish a long-term audience. And then you had Eurovision on afterwards. It was possibly the single campest evening on BBC television in the history of BBC television. So perhaps this isn't for me. Yes, George Martin made a nod, but they were recording there at that studio, and was that their first album? Oh, I just don't know. I used to know so much more about the Beatles. I used to know someone who was a gigantic Doctor Who fan and was a gigantic Beatles fan, and I hope somewhere out there, because I've not seen them for 30 years, I hope that they are loving that story and they didn't just sit there going, oh my God, the drums are wrong, this is wrong, that's wrong, it doesn't matter. Yes, clever, we want to do the Beatles, but we don't have access to the Beatles songs. Well, that's fine. But do you know what would have been a really good Devil's Chord? If it was the final note from Sgt. Pepper. Perhaps. I don't know. Perhaps that's just me being stupid. Because you can't copyright a single note, can you? I don't think so. Right. Susan Twist keeps appearing in the credits. It seems made up. And also, is there always a Janet? Oh, look, you know what? I'm being myself again. I'm finding minutiae when really my gut reaction was, this isn't for me. And if it was for you, I am so happy for you. I am overjoyed. Please enjoy these new Doctor Who stories. And I will keep talking about them. And perhaps the Moffatness will make things just a tiny bit more bearable. But my favourite Doctor Who that I've watched this weekend? Ambassadors of Death, while I was on the treadmill. And I enjoyed being on the treadmill more than I enjoyed sitting back comfortably and watching these stories. And I think that says a lot. God, I've become one of those awful podcasters who just rant about stuff. But I suppose after 19 years, 18, 17 years of podcasting, it was bound to happen eventually. Look, until next time, be seeing you. And tomorrow there's a for your consideration, and I hope you enjoy that a bit more than I enjoyed Doctor Who. Be seeing you. That was the Tin Dog Podcast. Everything discussed is the intellectual property of others. No infringement is intended. For early access to reviews, follow the show on YouTube or Twitter @Tin Dog Podcast. To contact the show, email tin-dog@hotmail.co.uk. The Tin Dog Podcast is a founder member of the Doctor Who Podcast Alliance.